Last week we learned about simplifying algebraic expression using plus and minus. So this week we'll continue with multiplication. 10. Do some revision on chapter 3. We have 3 squares here. So let's look at the area of it. Still remember in primary school we learned about area, 面积, 长乘宽. Look at the very first square here. And my length here is 2 cm, and also my length here is 2 cm. How do I find my area in this green box? Yes, as you know, area equals to the length multiplied by the width. 面积是长乘宽. So there is 2 cm here. 2 cm times 2 cm. I'll get 2 times 2 is 4. Or I can also write it as 2 square. 2 square means I have this number 2, same number, but it is repeated for 2 times. 2反复的出现2次， so 出现2次， 我们在上面写一个小的2。 So in English, we read it as 2 square, or you can read it as 2 to the power of 2. 小的2我们念成 power. Or how many times this number 2 repeat? 2重复出现了多少次? Let's look at this orange square here. I have my length here. There is no number. 未知数, a variable which is a. And my length here is also a. As before, the area here is a times a. It becomes a repeats. So a repeats, put it down here. Repeat for how many times? 1 time, 2 times. Repeat 2 times. So I can pronounce this as a square, or a to the power of 2. Let's look at this. Again, I want to find the area of this pink square. My length here is b, and my length here is also b. So b times b, same variable, happens for 2 times. So b repeats for how many times? 1 time, 2 times. So I put a 2 here. I can read this as b square, or b to the power of 2. Volume 体积, we're talking about cubes here. So 体积长乘宽乘高. Look at this cube here. I want to find the volume of this cube. 2 cm, 2 cm times the height 2 cm. So 2 cm times 2 cm times 2 cm. Oh, they are the same number. Appear for 3 times. So the same number here, I can put 2 here, the big one. Repeated how many times? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So repeated for 3 times. So the one here, the big one, we call it as a base. And the small one up there, we call it as power. As you know, in chapter 3, we read this as 2 cube because it is a cube. Or we can also read it as 2 to the power of 3. 2, this number is repeating for 3 times. Let's look at this cube again. Orange cube. I have the length, width, and height. 长乘高乘宽. There's no number, but there's a variable called a. So I can put my volume as a times a times a. What is the same thing that has been repeating? The same thing that has been repeating is not a number, it's a variable. Yes, I can put it as variable a. How many times it repeats? 1, 2, 3. So I can put my 3 here. A repeats for 3 times. I can read this as a cube or a to the power of 3. Look at this pink cube. There is no number here, but I assume or I predict this length, width and height is B. So volume is B times B times B. Oh, B repeating for 3 times. So I put my B down here. How many times it repeats? 1, 2, 3. So B cube. So my volume for this cube is B cube or B to the power of 3. Hence, this is what we call repeated multiplication. Repeated 重复 multiplication 重复的乘. As you look at here, 2 cube. So 2 has been repeated multiplied by 3 times. If A cube, A has been repeated multiplied by 3 times. And B to the power of 3, B has been repeated multiplied by 3 times. Let's get started. Simplifying expressions. Simplifying means 约减. So now we are going to deal with expressions that have times. Simplifying again means from a very long expression, you try to shorten it, put it into a simplified version or simplest form. Look at this. A times A is like term, yes. Both alphabets are the same. So I can put it shorter term. By how? Throwing these times. I put A down because A, the same variable appear for 2 times. 1 time, 2 times. So A square or A to the power of 2. If I have A times A times A, very long one, can I try to put it in a very short term? Yes, I can throw away these times. And A, the same thing appear for 3 times. So same A, I put down A. Appear for 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I put 3, little 3 up there. So this is A cube or A to the power of 3. Have a look at here. Wow, so many A's. So first, I can simplify by throwing away all the times here. And A is repeating. So put on the A, which is repeating. For how many times? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. So I can read it as A to the power of 5. One more time. A to the power of 5. What if I have A times 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 A? A lot of A's. How many times? It is n times. So how can I put it? A is the same variable that is repeating. So I put down my base as A. How many times? Wow, a lot of time. Until the n time. N is a variable, maybe a number that we do not know yet. So this is A repeating for n times. This is A to the power of n. So this is how we simplify from a very long expression to a very simple one. This is called index form, short form. Now, unlike term. What will happen to the unlike term? If I have A times B. A times B, they are unlike term, different alphabet. If I have plus, A plus B will still equal to A plus B. But now, I have times, multiply, 乘, different. When I have 乘 in between, multiply, I can throw away this multiply. And I can combine this together. So I can put A and B together. this only happens in times. In plus, no, you can't. A plus B is still A plus B. What if I have A times B times A? Again, I can throw away this multiplication and left with only A, B, A. When I arrange this, I have to arrange the same one together. Same one together. And then I check all like terms. A repeating for 1 times, 2 times. So I put 2 on the top and B the same. So this is read as A square B. Next, what if I have A times B times A times B times A? Again, times, simplification, I can throw away my multiply in between. So I have A, B, A, B, A, 5 terms. Gather all the like terms together, A, A, A. A appears for 3 times and B followed by B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, A is the same. Repeating for how many times? 1, 2, 3. So it can further simplify into A cubed. And B repeating for 1, 2. B square is the simplified version. So the answer is A cubed B square. Easy? From this very long one to the short one. This is called simplified expression. Next one. What if I have A times B times A times B times A times B? A appears for M times and B appears for N times. What should I do? I can gather all the A's together, and if I count straight away until M, I can put A repeating for M times, and B appears repeating for N times. So my answer is A to the power of M, B to the power of N. So in unlike term, for plus, you can't do anything. You just put A plus B equals to A plus B. But we have multiplication in between times. You can just throw away the times and put the unlike term together. A and B can be together only in times. Clear? Simplifying expressions, now I have number and variable. 2 times A. In multiplication, I can put the unlike term 2 and A together. 2 is a number, A is a variable, they are unlike. But with this times, I can just throw away this and put 2 and A together. So my answer is 2A, simple. What if I have A times 2? 2, number, A, alphabet. They are unlike terms. But with this multiplication, I can put 2 of them together by just throwing this out. So A, 2. When I write my answer properly, I have to put number first, then only my alphabet. So the correct answer is 2A. What if I have 2 times B times A? They are unlike term. 2 is different from B, B is different from A. But with this multiplication, I can put all of them together. 2, B, A. By just throw away this multiplication. But this is not the way to write it. You have to put first number, and then starting from A, B, C, D. Yes, A first, then only B. You sing the song. The answer is 2AB. Last one, what if I have D times C times D times 3 times C? Different term. D is different from 3, 3 is different from C. But with multiplication, I can just put all of them together. So, D, 3, C. But remember, I have to rewrite it again. number first. So 3 come first. And then you start singing your song. A, B, C, D. So C come first, then only D. The answer is 3CD. So I have number and variable. I can throw away the multiplication. And then I put number first. Then alphabet A, B, C accordingly until Z. Practice makes habit. Question number 1. Simplify to index form. Use the methods that we have learned just now to put all these expressions into the index form. Index form means I have a base and I have a power of n. This is called simplest form or index form. Let's have a look at n. I have 3 times a times 3 times a. So I have 2 numbers. So I will first suggest you copy the question and then put all the numbers together first. 3 times 3. Again, all the like terms together. Number one side, variable one side. Then you can throw away the multiplication and then straight away times with the number. 3 times 3, we have 9. And a appear for how many times? 1, 2. 2 times. So the answer is 9a squared. So others should be fine. Try it out and we'll discuss in the class. Expanded form, 膨胀版. We have multiply in between, longer one. Index form, 指数版. We have this square and very simple one, very short one. So very long one, we call it as expanded form. We expand it by using multiply in between. Index form, we throw away all the multiply and left only the important ones. So this is called index form. Now we are going to turn index form, very short one, to the longer one, expand it. So if we have a squared b cubed c, in between we add in times. Therefore, we have between a, b, and c, there is times here. And then a squared. A squared, I know that a repeated for 2 times. 2 times. Therefore, there is 1a, 2a. Expand it, a times a. And b cubed, I also can expand it to b repeated for 3 times. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And lastly, c. There is no index for c. So c, there is only 1 here. So c, I only put 1c. So this is the expanded form from the index form. Clear? Practice makes habit. Question number 2. Write in expanded form. As you see, all these are very simple. Index form. So we are going to expand it out. Expand it means we are going to add in a lot of multiply. So a repeated for 2 times. So there a repeat 1 time, repeat 2 times. In between, I add in multiply. Let's look at this. If I have number and I also have alphabet, how? First, in between the number and the alphabet, there is a times. So put this in. 3 times m cubed. But this m cubed, I can also expand it. Put down the number again, 3 times. So m. M repeat for 3 times. M repeat for 3 times. 3 times means 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So 3m cubed, I can expand to 3 times m times m times, m. simplifying expressions. Before that, I have A times B, only one variable. Up level now, I have PQ times PQ. How can I simplify this? First, because PQ, they are two together, let's expand it. So add in, multiply in between. So it becomes P times Q times P times Q. Then we put all the like terms together, like P and P together and Q together. Then you can see very clearly, P repeating for 2 times. Put a square up there and Q repeating for 2 times. So from PQ times PQ, it becomes P square, Q square. Simplified. Next, I have number and variables. So I have 2 times PQ times PQ. Again, I'm going to add in the multiply to expand it. Para pengzang. So I rewrite again to 2 times P times Q times P times Q. And then I can arrange same one together, number, there's no more number, and P, and one more P here. So P times P, and then Q times Q. Then rearrange, put it simplified, 缩写. Throw away all the times, and then left with P. P repeating for how many times? 1, 2. So 2 times P square, and Q repeating for 1 time, 2 times. 2 square, 2P square, Q square. What if I have 2 numbers and also variables? Again, I break them. Expand it by using multiply. Copy down again with all the multiply in between. Times P times Q times 3 times P times Q. And then the like term put together. Same one, I put it together. So numbers, I put it together. So 2 over 3 times 3. And then P and P, I put it together. And then Q and Q, I put it together. Then I can simplify them. How? Number and number, as usual. So 2 times 1 divided by 1 is 2. Oh, I have P. P repeating for how many times? 1, 2. P square. And Q repeating for 2 times. P square, 2. P square, Q square. Yeah, this is more interesting. I have negative here, and I have a square in between. So I highlight here the different. But the method is the same. Method is I put down number first. The same one I put together. So number and number. Then there are variables and variables. I expand them by adding a multiply in between. So P square, I have P repeating for 2 times, times Q. 3 is already taken, so I left with times P times Q. Next, settle the number. Negative 2 times 3, I'll get 6. And then I have P. 1, 2, 3. So P repeating for 3 times. And Q repeating for twice. PQ square. Oh, I have one more multiply here. I can also straight away just take this off. The answer is 6PQ. Q square. This is how we do variables with number in multiplication. Practice makes habit. Question number 3. Write in simplest form. Let's look at A. I have 2x times x. Again, I copy down the question. 2x times x. Be very careful on how I write my x and my times. You have to write it correctly, else you will be very confused with it. So I have 2x times x. Again, I expand them. Expand them by adding in times in between. So I put in multiply here. So I can write it as 2 times x times x. So again, be careful on how you write it. Number in front, 2. Oh, and x. Now I can simplify by throwing out the times. X repeating 1 time, repeating 2 times, so x squared. So this is 2x squared. Pretty simple. Now let's go to slightly a bit challenging one, q. Again, you copy down the question, 3ab squared times 4a cubed b. Expand it. Put all the multiply in between. Expand it. 3 times a times b squared times 4 times a cubed times b. All expand it. Then I can rewrite it again by putting all the times in between. 3 times a times b squared times 4 times a cubed times b. And then I group them. Number and number. And then a and a. And then b and b. Then the next step, I can solve them. Throwing all the multiply. 3 times 4, I'll get 12. And then a repeating 4, how many times? 1 times and 3 times here, altogether 1 plus 3, 4 times. And then b, 2 times and 1 time. So it's b cubed. So my answer is 12a to the power of 4b cubed. Try it out.